Happy Monday, Brian Good here. Welcome to the EA. Here's the latest on the today's Eclipse notes, and it's not exactly as funny as some of the other ones. This one's actually more of an explainer, descriptor, if you will, because the word eclipse comes from eclipsis, which is an ancient Greek word for abandonment. So yes, the sun is going to abandon us on the 21st of August. I say it's 3 weeks from today. We will have Kentucky's darkest day. Now, if the weather was like today, I would be really happy. We all would be really happy. In fact, a good chunk of the country would, because it's really quiet over a good chunk of the country. But don't want to jinx it, so we'll just leave it at that for now. All right. Don't forget, you can pick up your eclipse glasses, viewing glasses. If you didn't get some at the Parklands of the Floyd's Fork event they had yesterday, you do, of course, have the chance to come out to the Kentucky State Fair, Wave 3 News Day at the fair. That's Saturday, the 19th, just before Eclipse Day, just before it. You have a chance to get those glasses, so come out there to the South Wing and pick those up. You cannot use your sunglasses. You can't look at the sun. You've got to have special glasses to view the sun for the eclipse, if that's the way you want to do it. Otherwise, you can poke a hole into a cardboard box, by the way, a shoe box, and it'll show the eclipse on the ground through the pinhole. You can do that as well. We'll be talking more about that, other ways you can safely view the eclipse as we get closer in time. Weather-wise, another nice-looking day. Just a few high-level clouds kind of streaming in. We're 70 degrees right now in town. Still enjoying a nice north flow across the Ohio Valley, so it's allowing for another dry day today. High pressure still has control over weather, but it is going to be moving to the east. It's centered over portions of Illinois today. As it moves away from us, we'll get more of a south wind, and that's when the humidity comes back and, of course, the heat. At the moment, the core of the humidity, the darker greens back there in the plains where the rain is falling. In fact, there's a big surge you can see there of humidity all the way up through the Dakotas into the Canadian provinces. So as far as severe weather potential for today, not an issue. Tomorrow, it's up in the upper Midwest. And for Tuesday, still up there in the upper Midwest, because the high, again, in our neck of the woods, is keeping us fairly protected. Let me show you, though, some of the high-res models. First off, our in-house RPM model, indicating that tomorrow we'll top out at the upper 80s, perhaps even lower 90s as of today, upper 80s for today. We're not worried about rainfall for today whatsoever. In fact, anything that does pop will fade out. Tomorrow, I do think we'll get a little bit more than what the model was saying. I think we have a chance to cross 90 degrees here in the city, about 90, 91. And an isolated pop-up can't be ruled out. We do add a bit more humidity in the air starting tomorrow. But as we get into Wednesday, then we really begin to build the humidity back in. Therefore, likely not crossing 90 on Wednesday. We'll have more cumulus clouds around, and this looks like a complete washout. It's not going to be, because the model... these models like this, these high-res models, they struggle with convective development of thunderstorms like this. They plot all over the place with any type of cumulus cloud. It reads that as a thunderstorm, so it looks like just the washout. That's not really the case, but there will be more on the radar to track on Wednesday, and there will be quite a few cumulus clouds. Therefore, not exactly as hot, but it will be more humid, and again, some downpours will be around. The big front, the main one for the week, though, is going to be on Friday. It should arrive by midday to the early afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms with that front, and it'll take until about after midnight to get it out of our 29 counties, and then we clear out for yet another beautiful weekend. So now the question is, are we dealing with strong thunderstorms on Friday's front moving in? And first off, look at the storm energy itself. Now there's a bit of instability that shows up here at midday, but as the day wears on, the timing of the front, the timing is key on this. That's why I can't go into a lot more detail than what I'm about to do on the severity potential for Friday. But just taking it from face value from the data we have now, the timing would suggest that the front's coming through just enough time that the max heating of the day would allow for much more storm energy and instability in eastern Kentucky than central Kentucky. That's important because when you look at the wind shear, there's some decent wind shear. More north, they're a bit displaced. So with the two overlap, where you saw the higher instability forming here, mainly east of Louisville, and where you have the higher wind shear as we head into Friday afternoon, that is where your best chance would be for a slight risk to be drawn. I would say generally in this spot right in through here is where your slight risk would be at, and probably a marginal, possibly going into eastern Kentucky. That's the way I see the potential of the maps looking on Friday itself. Not a big deal. It's a low-end threat, so at this point I don't see anything too overwhelming to be concerned about. But what a pattern, though, because as we get into this weekend, as I mentioned, we drop again. Here's the GFS and its ensemble, here's the Euro and its ensemble, and here's the Canadian and its ensemble, and they all agree on a cooler than normal weekend coming our way. Even as we get into next week, GFS is trying to build back in some of the heat. Now keep in mind, the pink is when you get to about 90 or up. The brighter pink, more into the 90s you go. But the ensembles even are not bringing that in here. The Euro is even trying to drop in another strong front end about the latter portion of the next week that will take place. And even as we had toward about the 15th and 16th of August, I don't have data here from the Euro and the Canadian as far as the run-to-run models, but the ensembles still indicate the same story here, where we're going to have still a dip here in the Ohio Valley, and even the GFS operational, surprisingly, is leaning that way. So these cool shots of air continue to show up in the modeling all the way through mid-August, which is going to keep us generally in the 80s, maybe some 70s mixed in, and several cold fronts to bring in some rainfall. So not a bad-looking month. Now, that begs the question, if it's that active, how is that going to affect Eclipse Day? Because wouldn't that likely lead to a more cloudy scenario, potentially for the eclipse on the 21st if we keep this up? Yes, it would. Versus a typical summer pattern in August, where you get high pressure, and this is the hot day and a few clouds in the afternoon, which is what a lot of the modeling now is basing the forecast on, as what typically happens in Kentucky in August. But this is not a typical pattern for August we're looking at here. So there's a lot of questions on the weather side of things as we head toward eclipse time. So stay tuned. We'll keep you updated and monitoring. I'm going to try to start getting the actual forecast out, at least some an actual snapshots of the forecast for Eclipse Day, starting at some point this week. So stay tuned for that. Until then, enjoy these nice little cool downs coming our way.